If you are perhaps choosing between a Nautilus or a Kronos or equivalent keyboards from Yamaha or Roland, and the acoustic piano sound is of the utmost importance to you, then I made this video especially for you. I hope you find it helpful. Hello and welcome to Piano Shack with me, Woody. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the SGX2 premium piano sound engine here on the KORG Nautilus. A few facts about this library then, this sound engine. It does use samples. We have a few different pianos sampled and the sample libraries are gigabytes in size. The Nautilus here has, I believe, a 60 gigabyte SSD hard disk built in, and KORG have some technology to stream the samples off the SSD disk. We have true damper resonance, string resonance. Each note is sampled at up to 12 velocity layers, which is quite impressive. There are no loops, so every single note has been sampled in its entirety. We also have some unicorder samples just with the one string being hit by the hammer. We'll take a listen to those later as well. High polyphony and yeah, some realistic performance nuances as well that we'll be demonstrating later and digging into, including things like mechanical noise, damper pedal noise, and so on. Okay, so this is our primary piano sound here. You can see, perhaps you can see, it's made up of two different layers here actually. We have two different pianos. One that is sampled close mic'd and another one that is sampled using microphones at the back of the room for some room tone and room ambience. So let's just see what this one sounds like with the two of them layered together. If we mute the ambient one here by pressing that button there, that's the close mic'd. Switch them both off. We hear nothing, of course. If we just enable the room version, interesting. We can pull up the volume here. Very interesting. And by enabling them both, you can, of course, mix together the levels that you want. Find these drag sliders to be a little bit cumbersome to use. I don't always nail it. Another way to do it is just to press the slider and then use the dial. That might be better because you can actually see what I'm doing here on the screen as well. So that is the new feature here where you can mix together the dry and ambient sounds. Not all of the pianos have an ambient mix, but this one, the main Nautilus, which is a Steinway D, I believe they call it, the German Grand, this one does have those samples. Okay, what I'm going to do now is mute the ambient ones, pull up the volume of the main piano sound, like so. And let's focus on the tweaks and the configurations that we can do on this main piano here. Let's go into the main program edit mode just by pressing the piano here on the screen, and there you have it in all its glory. Just before we dig in, one thing I do want to do is make sure we have our dynamics in the middle. And I also want to make sure that we're going to switch off all of the reverb actually. Not that there is much in this particular patch, but we'll switch that off and let's press the buttons in just because we can. I also want to go back to the main program page and just turn off any EQ, because we don't want that for the purposes of this demonstration. So I'm just going to flatten things out here. So now we have a flat EQ curve. What I really want to do here, guys, is just hear the pure sounds of the samples without any processing, or at least as little processing as we can, so we can really hear the quality of the raw piano sounds. Okay, back in the program page then. One thing you've seen on the demos is the lid being opened and closed. So let's play around with that now and really take a listen to see what it sounds like. Fully closed. Fully open. We can also put it in between, so it's just really making it brighter, darker, somewhere in between might be nice. And then we also have a lot of controls here on the right. And the ones I want to play around with now are these mechanical noises. We'll also take a listen to the other sampled pianos in a second. And to do that, we just pull up this little drop down here. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of different sample sets to choose from. By the way, one other interesting thing here, although we have two pianos layered together, you might still be able to see here, we are in program mode. So this is not the combi mode. This is almost like a program with two oscillators. I just thought that was interesting to point out. Okay, an interesting one here that I want to experiment with first is the damper resonance. As you press the damper, the strings can freely vibrate. You get a lot of resonance in the strings, so let's see if we can hear that effect. I've wound it up to the max. Wind it all the way off. I'll show you a nice graphic in a second that does demonstrate and show you the notes that are resonating as you're playing. It's pretty cool. So that was that one. We'll leave it maxed out because I do like a bit of string damper resonance thing. Now, the next one I want to adjust is the damper noise, which we have here. Let's turn that all the way up. So when the damper pedal is pressed down, the noise of the impact causes all of the strings to resonate slightly. So let's whack this one up and I'll smash my damper pedal. Well, I'm not hearing much there, so that's quite a subtle effect. The next one here we have is our mechanical noise, the sounds of the keyboard action, I guess. Let's crank it up, see what we get. Yes, you can definitely hear that. Yeah, let's dial that back a bit. You can definitely hear that one in action. And then finally, on this section, we have the note release. This is the sound of the damper hitting the string. Let's take a listen to that one. Crank it up to the max. Again, a very subtle thing. You're probably not going to hear that in a mix. I can barely hear it now, to be honest. But it's nice to have those little tweaks there. Maybe they have more effect on some of the other piano sounds. Let's try some of the other pianos. We've heard this one enough now. Let's step through and check out some of the other ones that are available. So we click here. We have a surprising number, actually. I was expecting to have a Japanese upright and an Italian grand and a mini grand, but we're getting a huge variation of each piano here. So let me just play a few at random for you. Let's see what they sound like. Go to the top here. There's our distant ones. Very nice. We've got some deep ones, dark ones. Now we are into the territory of the Japanese small grand, perhaps some smaller Yamaha grand. Sounds lovely and crisp. We have many variations of this as well. Bright. Here we do have some ambient samples again. Interesting. And now we are into the prepared pianos, but I think we'll save those for another video. Okay, we seem to have a bit of a glitch. I'm going to have to reset this patch. I'm just getting silence no matter what I play here. That's a bit frustrating. This is a pre-production prototype with a very early firmware. So yeah, I have experienced a bit of a glitch here. For some reason, no longer hearing any of these samples. Let's reset and try again. So this is the one I was looking for that I wanted to show you. This is the Italian Grand, a Fazioli grand piano, I guess. Again, let's take off the reverb so we just hear the sound of the piano by itself. Yeah, I think that might be my favourite. That sounds really nice. Yeah, we have a lot of variations on that one as well. I promised to show you this fancy graphics with the string resonance. To do that, we press on this little area here. And that brings up this display. This is where we can enable the unicorder feature, although I haven't found a piano sample that supports this yet. Perhaps that's something that's coming, or I'm just missing it. But this is what I wanted to show you. Check out this. Quite sure how to trigger these resonances. It's not working quite like I expect. You can see the strings that are resonating as I play this chord. All the ones here at the top. But if I press the damper pedal down so all these strings are ringing, I'm not seeing any graphics there. That's a little bit strange to me. Maybe I'm just not understanding it. Maybe I've spotted something interesting here, and this is perhaps a clue about what's coming up in the future. The selections that seem to be causing the keyboard to go silent are mysteriously labelled Berlin and Austrian piano sample sets. When I choose those, the keyboard cuts out and no longer plays. So perhaps these are libraries that are coming in the future, who knows? And on that bombshell, I think we are done with the acoustic pianos demonstration. Join me next time for the electric pianos. I'll see you then. Cheerio.